Native Americans, Iroquois tribe. The Iroquois were a league or confederacy of tribes in the northeastern part of America. Originally, they were formed by 5 tribes: the Cayuga, Onondaga, Mohawk, Seneca, and Oneida. Later, in the 1700s, the Tuscarora tribe joined. What types of homes did they live in? The Iroquois lived in longhouses. These were long, rectangular buildings made with wood frames and covered with bark. They were sometimes over 100 feet long. They didn't have any windows, just a door at each end and holes in the roof to let smoke from cooking fires out. Many families would live in a single longhouse. Each family would have its own compartment that could be separated from others for privacy, using a partition made of bark or animal skin. Longhouses were part of a larger village. A village would have several longhouses, which could often be surrounded by a fence called a palisade. Outside the palisade would be the fields where the Iroquois would farm crops. What did the Iroquois eat? The Iroquois ate a variety of foods. They grew crops such as corn, beans, and squash. These 3 main crops were called the 3 sisters and were usually grown together. Women generally farmed the fields and cooked the meals. They had a number of ways to prepare corn and the other vegetables they grew. The men hunted wild game, including deer, rabbit, turkey, bear, and beaver. Some meat was eaten fresh and some was dried and stored for later. Hunting animals was not only important for meat, but for other parts of the animal as well. The Iroquois used the skin for making clothing and blankets, the bones for tools, and the tendons for sewing. What did they wear? Iroquois clothing was made from tanned deerskin. The men wore leggings and long breechcloths, while the women wore long skirts. Both men and women wore deerskin shirts or blouses, and soft shoes made of leather called moccasins. Did they have Mohawk hairstyles? The men of the Iroquois nation shaved their head except for a strip down the middle. Even though it's called a Mohawk haircut today, many of the Iroquois tribesmen, not just the Mohawk, cut their hair like this. Girls would wear 2 braids in their hair until they got married, then they would have a single braid.